Hello, it's Gordon here. Hope all is well with you. This Facebook Live I've called Taking Personal Responsibility. That's the short version. The long version is taking personal responsibility for your actions. That's a game changer right there. Now that line, that quote, is from one of my own quote images, which I've posted earlier on the page today, and I'll post under this Facebook Live when I posted the video. And it was the very first quote image I ever made. And I'm talking about it today for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that the picture I used for the quote I took today, May the 19th, back in 2015. I took that picture, and the other reason I thought I'd talk about it today was because when I picked this idea about personal responsibility for your actions being a game changer, I thought about what point to make for my first one, and I decided that was a really important and powerful point. I thought that back in May 2015, and I think it today, which is why I'm talking about it today. It's important at any time. Taking personal responsibility for your actions, that is a game changer right there. And in fact, I wrote an article about it on my blog, and I'll post a link to that as well below this video. And I didn't reread the article before I hit the live button on this video, which I sometimes do. I thought I would just go with the flow and see where the point took me on May the 19th, 2019, 4 years after I took that photo. So taking personal responsibility, there's sort of, I call it a game changer, and there's sort of two aspects to taking personal responsibility. The first aspect is that what I hear a lot of people doing, certainly offline, but absolutely on social media, is blaming and moaning about other people. Oh, my family, if only my family did this. Oh, my friends, if only my friends did this. Oh, my work colleagues, if only my work colleagues did this. Oh, if only the media, did this. Oh, the government, if only the government did this. It's their fault. It's my family's fault. It's my friend's fault. It's my work colleagues' fault. It's the media's fault. It's the government's fault. Well, hang on. That may be the case. I'm not saying that those other aspects aren't influential. They are. But are they the only influences? Do they influence your thoughts and your actions? Or are you passing the buck of your actions or your inactions onto these other people? Your family, your friends, your work colleagues, the government, the media. Are you passing responsibility for your actions or inactions onto any or all of those groups? Because it's easy. It's easy to do that, because then you can just go on social media and have a moan about any of those groups of people or all of them, and you don't have to worry about taking action yourself or thinking about, hang on, what actions have I taken, or what actions have I not taken, or what do I say to people, or what do I not say to people? How do I treat others? How do I not treat others? The personal actions, thinking about the responsibility that we take. Never mind what our family, friends, work colleagues, the media, government says or does. Never mind that. I'm not saying they don't exist, because clearly they do. It would be silly to say they don't exist. But what about the actions that we take ourselves, that we know that we take, or that we know that we don't take? Taking personal responsibility. The second point behind taking personal responsibility is not to blame yourself. There's a big difference between taking personal responsibility and self-blame. You could say it's a pedantic difference, it's a semantic difference behind the meaning of the words, but it's hugely important because it's powerful. And let me explain. This is something I got from a book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers, which is a great book. Often dismissed by people as being a bit glib, but I've had two great life lessons that I've taken from it, and this is one of them. If you look back in your past, your life, and look at something you think, I wish I hadn't said that, I wish I hadn't thought that, I wish I hadn't done it. Okay. What Susan Jeffers says in her book is that you were doing the best you could at the time. You were doing the best you could at the time. Now, some people say, well, that's glib because you know that you weren't doing the best you could at the time. But to take that further, well, hang on. If you knew at the time that it wasn't the best you could do, but you still did it, then that clash was the best you could do at the time, because you weren't able to come away from less than your best and go to your best. You weren't able to do that. And that was the best you could do at the time. I don't want to go around in circles about it too much, but that's why it's important that taking responsibility is not about self-blame. Okay? It's about being aware of the actions, the thoughts, the words from your past, and then the actions, thoughts and words of your present. Because, talking about the present, the circumstances around you, and I got this from Earl Nightingale, the circumstances around you reflect your thoughts, your words, your choices and your actions from the past. They do. You might have to go a long way back into your past, and you might have to look hard to find them. Some of those choices and actions are very clear that it was those choices and actions that led to your current circumstances. Some of them you might have to look a bit harder, but you will find them eventually. And then once you accept that and take responsibility, take personal responsibility, that is a game changer. Because if you accept that your thoughts, words, choices and actions in the past shaped your current circumstances, which they did, it means that going forward, your thoughts, your words, your choices and your actions will shape your circumstances going forwards, which they will. So if you combine that with taking personal responsibility for those thoughts, words, choices and actions, you're setting yourself up powerfully, aren't you? Because you're setting yourself up, bringing your intention, your agenda, your passions and your authentic you to the process, and you're standing in the middle of all that. And what you're not doing is just passing the buck and passing the blame onto family, friends, work colleagues, the media or the government or any number of other people or groups or things, the weather, that you could try and put the blame on. It's a powerful point, and that's why I used it in the first quote image I made back in 2015, and the point is still just as relevant, just as valid today, May the 19th, 2019. So I hope you enjoyed that message. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below wherever you happen to be seeing this video. Signing off for now. Hope all is well with you. Wishing you as ever health and happiness. I will speak to you again soon.